Hi Aparna.
Hi Divya.
We have had 6 incredible guests since our last recap. Shall we revisit some of those moments?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's start with Sneha Pai. What made that conversation so special?
Sneha reminded of the incredible power of homemakers, their silent struggles from managing everything from family to finances and everything else in between. And that too with barely any recognition, right? They're hardly celebrated compared to their working counterparts. So I really felt like it was a reminder of celebrating that quiet force and strength that holds so much together.
He wanted to do something for the homemakers
Okay.
because he thought that, their work is never showcased anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
At least working women have their organization, something,
True.
some appreciation somewhere.
True.
But
And being financially independent.
yeah.
Mm.
Homemakers don't have anything.
True.
So we said, let's start where, we share stories of women every week, every Wednesday.
Okay.
And we believed everyone is a Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, let's call it Wonder Woman Wednesday. The acronym is good. One story every Wednesday. That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, now there is no Wednesday. It's every day we celebrate women throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see the thought process behind it was like you have to either be a celebrity at that point of time or you have a struggling story. These were the only two things that were normally covered by platforms.
True.
And we wanted to break that myth because if you see a journey of any person and women in general, right? A homemaker also in, let's say, their 50 years, they would have gone through so many challenges, done
True.
it themselves, figured it out themselves, and they would have become a Wonder Woman at some point in their life. Only thing is, there's no realization. People just go about it thinking, this is what I'm supposed to do. So that is what we wanted to break actually, rather than anything, and say that, you just start journaling your journey and you yourself will figure out how far you have come.
True.
And that is the seed that we wanted to put in women's mind. So the most interesting story, Aparna, is I'll take something close to my home, my mom's example. She's done so much for all of us. She's 74 years old now, and she's done so much for all of us, but never has asked anything or, never has felt that she's doing so much for each one of us. And when we asked her to share her story, we said, we are doing this and, why don't you? She's like, what do I write? I don't have anything to write because I'm just managing home. I'm managing you guys. I'm managing my grandchildren. But I think that is the beauty of it, right? Like homemakers do much more than what we think they are doing. And of course, working women have their own challenges, but homemakers have that nurturing thing which actually helps a family to be like, it allows the members of the family to be who they are. And they underestimate that to a large extent. And the way homemakers manage finances, even my mom has been doing it for years, right? It's a skill which people say that, women are not financially capable to do certain things. But I think most of the homemakers break that myth, but they do not know. I think that is where, it is important for us to say that, each story is worth it, each story is important, each journey has a lot of things which is like a learning.
Dr. Jyoti Neeraja wears so many hats. What stayed with you from her journey?
We went far beyond entrepreneurship with Dr. Jyoti, and she really emphasized on mental health. Now, we live in an environment where there is so much stress, an environment that constantly evolves, and mental health is that subject which is often overlooked or is considered taboo. And she said, pay attention to that pay attention to mental health just as much as you pay attention to all the outward aspects of you. And it is absolutely not wrong to seek help when you recognize something is not right with it.
So marga means pathway, a path, either in Sanskrit or Hindi.
Marg.
It's
Okay.
a path. So you can say that her pathway, which there is a light at the end of the tunnel, something like that. Because people with mental health problems, sometimes they don't see light at the end of the tunnel. They are so confused. They don't even have answers. So that marga is the pathway for them, to lead a normal life, to be productive, to be accepted by the society, by the community. That's what we do in marga. So what does marga do for the patients to get out of the fear to seek mental health? Number one is we actually give them the confidence that they are not being judged. That is the most important thing. They cannot be judged at all. Could be anybody in the organization, not necessarily, not the doctors, the psychiatrists, the psychologists. So we make sure that they are not judged, and like we discussed in the beginning, compassionate care. Most important is confidentiality. So that is what the patients, fear about, the confidentiality being maintained when they visit a doctor, because they come and talk about their personal problems, what they are going through, what actually caused them, led them to suffer what they are suffering today. So the key is to maintain confidentiality, non-judgmental, compassionate, of course, the thing, and like we discussed, dignity. So give them that due self-respect, the dignity of care. This is exactly what we do in Marga Mind Care. And if you see, that's our philosophy also. That's our mission. And to treat anybody and everybody who come to us with the type of care we would want for our own family members, our friends, or for ourselves. So with that, what happens, not only my doctors, my clinicians, anybody, it could be from my gatekeeper to my housekeeping, to my front office, everybody, talk to the patient, give them that experience, that how they would want their own family members to be treated. So that compassion and that non-judgmental thing is our foremost thing in Marga Mind Care.
Lovely, lovely. I mean, it sounds so nice. I feel that, like I said before, half the problem is mental, right? And if you give them that comfort zone, if you give them that, feeling of safety, feeling of, that their data is going to be confidential, they are willing to open up to you, right?
Yes.
When they open up, it's
Yes.
like that pressure off of you that's released.
Yes,
And then you
yes.
guide them.
Absolutely. You're a woman, so your opinions and decisions could be coming out of an emotional point or an emotional. I have seen this many times. So they always come back and relate to, because you're a woman, are your decisions, are your opinions being emotionally taken? So for us to say that no, to prove it's like, silently you have to keep proving. And for that, what has to be done is you just keep taking actions. You just keep taking. So that is the difference between us and the others. So you just have to keep taking actions, and when you keep taking actions, you get the results, and result speaks for itself.
Proof.
So I have seen that as a major challenge. At least for me, it would always that women and emotional is always connected. But rather, I would say for the other gender, it would be, they know everything, and if they say something, then it would be correct. That difference I've always felt, Aparna.
Vani Iyer has had such an inspiring career. What was your biggest takeaway?
It is evolution, right? It is not like we have to have everything to start out something new with. We can always build on top of what we already have. And how beautifully she actually drew parallels with an automobile industry and animals, where both cannot talk, and you have to build intelligence on top of them to help. So, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So let's take that first step forward confidently, and then the world is set to be yours.
So I got a name for getting things done.
Okay.
So, if we give it to one, it'll get done. You don't have to worry about it. That was the story around the rise in the automotive scene, and then slowly started working on campaigns, and then grew within the system. My last job was, of course, my first and last are very crucial because both were very dear to me. So Ford, I always used to say my blood is blue in my veins because the Ford colors were blue. And my last job was with Nissan India, where I started in marketing, but what is really close to my heart is having launched the Nissan Magnite, and it launched on my birthday as well, on the 2nd of December.
Oh, wow.
I bought a car after I quit the organization because I I genuinely felt so much for it. It's a phenomenal product. We launched with a fantastic, perspective in the Indian market, and we ran past 50,000 bookings, though we were expecting only 10,000. So it was like a runaway success. But the most, the biggest thing to note about it is that we had only positive feedback about what we did, which was very big for Nissan India, because before that, between having shut down kicks, or not really shutting down, we were rolling it out. We were still trying to keep it alive, but being there minimally, the Nissan kicks and the Datsun being dushut down, we had so many questions to respond to with the media. Despite that, none of that came out during pre-launch, during the launch, or after the launch. It was way after that people started picking it up and talking about it. But those also were quietened down to say, look at the success, don't look at the failures or what you perceive as the failures. We're moving ahead, we're not looking back. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's what we've done with this brand, this product, the pricing. We're able to bring an automobile to every household. That's what we're looking at. So that was a fantastic opportunity. So if you look at a car can't speak for itself. But how does a man talk about a car? How does a man talk about a car? A man will always say, I know everything that's under the hood. I can change a tire. I know this. It's fantastic. It goes at so many miles per hour. This is the fuel efficiency. It can talk. Car can't talk for itself. But today, in the era of, when I say today, this is now in the last 8 to 10 years, in the era of connected cars, all it takes is a dongle. You stick the dongle in the car, you take that dongle, put it in your workshop, you know exactly how the driver has used the car, whether he's been clutch riding, whether he's been speeding, whether he's been, how well has he used, whether the tires are, well used or not.
And there are apps that detect it real time.
Everything,
too, right?
everything.
Insurance does it.
Insurance does it. So, but the aftermarket can read exactly how the driver or how the man who's been driving or the woman who's been driving has actually handled the car.
Correct.
When the car doesn't speak, its data does. And it is phenomenal, it's just, so the basic, just lift this now from this automotive segment to the
what a
animal
beautiful
segment.
parallel. Never thought of it that way.
So I always, it still gives me goosebumps. This is 5 years ago when I was talking to him. It used to give me goosebumps when I used to talk about it. Same with an animal. Animal can't talk for itself. And a human being who owns a pet will always say, he's okay, he's playing, he's happy, he's fun, he's had his food, he's had his water. Yeah, I think he had water twice a day. I think he went to pee once in the morning, once in the evening. Not thinking, kabhi bahar jaake garden mein kuch kar diya hoga. No, doesn't think about it. We always talk in conjecture as pet parents. It's our biggest limitation. Because when we go to a vet also, we say, I think he did this, I think he... Vet can't do anything with a conjecture. They need real-time data. So when the ExamD, which is our core device, was created, it was created to remove conjecture from the conversation between pet parent and vet. Stop going with conjecture. It delays the treatment for your pet. It delays a good result for your pet's prognosis and diagnosis. And in certain cases, it can be harmful, to the point you lose the animal. Why get to a point like that?
Anju Kadam brought a refreshing perspective on saris. What resonated with you?
Oh, she was perfect because I love saris too. She reminded us that saris are not just garments, they go far beyond that. And sari is so versatile. It connects you with your memories, it connects you with your roots, it connects you with generations before you. So there is so much strength, so much versatility in a garment. And just like our own selves, right? We are all exactly like a sari. It's that 6 yards of cloth, but how beautifully it gets converted into so many different forms. And we are just like that, right? We have the best in us. It's how we express ourselves based on the situation. So it is an expression of versatility and beauty and confidence in one.
It has a pull.
It does. It does.
And if you let that young generation see this, they will emulate. They will emulate with their own style. I think that we need to stop being so
Rigid, right?
rigid, and we need to stop gaslighting the next generation on how they wear the sari. But I think everyone feels special when they do.
Sure. And then I think that's where the storytelling aspect comes, right? It's not just the soul, the story, in the sense that it's aesthetic, right? Everybody looks good in a sari. And
It's a one fits all.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are scientific benefits too, right? It's been designed in a way,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
I think all those factors also.
Absolutely.
And today's generation is all about facts, evidence. So, the storytelling really goes.
Yes.
It's that layer.
Yes. I'm often asked, how do we get the next generation to start wearing a sari? And I say, let's start wearing them ourselves. Think that we need to draw the distinction very clearly, very loudly, very persistently, that what you wear does not define what is here. And I was asked many, many times, why are you taking women backwards, asking them to wear saris? Auntie, you're a modern woman. What is this? Modernity is not what you wear. Modernity is what you do with your skills, with your brain, with what the privilege that you have.
True.
And can you do something more? Can you take more along with you? That is what I think intelligence is. To be able to be in service of, to be able to be doing good, to be able to move forward with not just yourself, but with maybe 5 more. That is what it is. It's not the sari. My God, I feel so powerful in a sari. I feel so modern in a sari. This is my business suit.
True. And then
I refuse to apologize for it.
and then why should people think that you're actually going back? You're actually being connected to your roots.
And doesn't that give you strength? Doesn't identity and
Yes,
belonging give you
absolutely.
strength?
Namita Kuti challenged so many conventional ideas. What stayed with you?
2 things. Learning to say no, which so many of us struggle with, and then breaking that good girl syndrome. I love the fact that she said, take charge, be your own agency, be in the driver's seat. Don't just belong, own your space.
You're using the power of neuroplasticity.
Yes,
Neurons that fire together wire together.
correct.
The
Exactly.
more you do something, the more the neurons between that, your synapses get strengthened, you can actually start to say no. So you say no once today, practice that over a week. The next week you say no twice. The third time you really try and see, okay, are there other extra
And then it
things
comes
that I do?
naturally.
And then it will come naturally to you, right? And I've started practicing that to an extent that people are like, wow, Namita, you can say no so confidently. And I'm like, no, I can't. I really struggle to say no. But now I realize it's also once you hit the magic number of 40, I think. I think the day I hit 40, I'm like, oh, I can say no.
40s, fab, and fearless.
Wonderful. I love it. 40, fab, and fearless. It's going to be my new tagline. But
I just made it up.
I love it.
What other factors have really shaped us, Indian women, to be the way we are right now?
Oh, that's such a beautiful question, because that is a rabbit hole that I think I've spent the last 3 years exploring.
And how do we come out of it guilt-free?
Yes, yes. I think that's such an important question. So, if you ask me, I call it the good girl rules.
Good girl rules. Okay.
Right? All of us have been brought up with these cultural injunctions. And by injunction, I mean early messages that nobody's told us. Nobody's really sat down and said, hey, Aparna, you cannot do this.
True. But we see our moms, we see our aunts.
And it's slowly filtered down. Don't take up space. Don't speak your mind. Don't be too much.
Sit like this.
Sit like this, right? A lady crosses her legs and sits. You're not going to sprawl and sit the way a man does, right? Don't say no. These are injunctions that have slowly crept into our consciousness, and they framed what I call the good girl rules. So these are things that kept us safe when we were maybe 7, 8, 9, chalo, even 10 years old. But when such a woman comes into the corporate, or she wants to be a founder, what happens? They act against her. She can't ask for a promotion. She can't claim for the work that's hers. She can't push back on work. And I have burnt out. I've burnt out multiple times because I just have a chronic inability as a child to say no. It's been drilled down into me that you cannot say no when your elders ask you. So when I go to the corporate and my boss says, can you do this? Yes, I can, because I do a good job. So, I would just get, and so many things added, and then boom, I'm sick because I physically have burnt out.
True.
Right? So I think for me, it's about dismantling those good girl rules. First, identifying what are the good girl rules that are governing your behavior. Right? For me, I realized it's do not say no. Right? Good girls adjust. Right? So you're in a group and this is one of my favorite. Good girls adjust. You're in a group and everyone wants something. You'd be like, okay.
And there's limited quantity of something. You say, okay, I'll not have it. The others can have it.
Good girls eat last. Right?
True.
And finally, Anahita and Apurva, what made their episode memorable?
What I loved is they are in the space of Carnatic music, which has been there for so many hundreds of years. And how beautifully, being so young, they've carried on this beautiful, what do you call? Tradition. What I really liked about them was they're so young, yet they've carried on this very traditional and centuries old art form so nicely. When they sang, I had goosebumps. And then what they're doing very smartly is they're not just taking forward something that's already been there, but making it relevant for today's generation, which is what makes it really, really thrive.
So many cities, and pretty much all the cities we've been to, we've seen a whole lot of youngsters and people who have not had exposure to Carnatic music before walk up to us and be absolutely awed by the beauty of it, because there truly is so much. All that was missing is that little bridge, and to imagine 90 seconds was all it took for that bridge to be built.
சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே என்னை கலி தீர்த்தே உலகில் என்னை கலி தீர்த்தே உலகில் என்னை கலி தீர்த்தே உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய் என்னை கலி தீர்த்தே உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய் சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Such a lovely start to the day. And can you tell me a little bit about this?
Well, this song is one of our all-time favorites. It is a poem of Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar in Tamil. It has the emotion of speaking to a young girl, and one could think of it as a mother to her child or a parent to their child, or to me it feels like talking to a sister. It really describes how important this person is to their life, and the power of the words along with the melody it is set in is truly a beautiful description of the relationship, the bonding between two individuals, two human beings, and it is very, very special that way, and we're very, very glad to share it with our NaariShakthi followers.
So, Aparna, how do you feel?
I feel very infused and inspired after every episode. I feel that they've been more than just interviews. They've been opportunities for learning, inspiration, and reflection. I really hope that you share the same feelings that I do. And after every episode, you feel that sense of energy, sometimes the confidence to try something new, or the confidence to be just yourself. We'll be back with another Nari and her story next week. Until then, stay strong, stay beautiful. We'll be back.